Hey, Alexander, you are live on Chewed Gum with Eve and Alyssa. What did you want to talk to us about tonight?
I first I saw on the line that you guys were going to talk about do men really protect women, but I guess you guys switched it up.
We tried to make a Halloween theme. Somebody else picks the
Uh,
titles for those usually, and so I tried to pick something that was more on topic for Alyssa and I for today. If you want to tell us, if you want to make a claim about anything, you're welcome to, and then we can let you know what we think, if we agree or disagree, and then we can go from there.
all right, no, well, I just like to say, I mean, as a statement, I do think that Halloween is evil. I don't think that people dressing up for the Halloween are like, have a mentality of evil, right? Like, but I do think that the frame and the the category, that the theme that Halloween is based on is evil. I mean, it's I think that anything that reflects evil, right, like grotesque stuff, can already be considered as an evil thing, obviously.
So, what do you believe evil is? Because I think that it's just a word to describe something that we think is harmful or really bad or something like that. Do you believe that evil is its own entity?
I believe, yeah, that evil is an act. It has the essence of it. Like the act of it is, in its essence, evil. You know what I mean? Um,
So, what
like
about
lying.
Halloween would you consider to be evil?
Well, like the theme of, I mean, it can be pretty self-explanatory once you go into a, uh, what's in the called, like those scare mazes, right? Like everywhere you see, it's just evil. You know what I mean? It's everything that,
I think
like they
it's
have.
scary. Can you tell me how it's actively harming other people? Like, if I choose to go to a scare maze, which I do go annually with my friends, and I close my eyes the whole time because I get jump scared so easily and my heart starts to race. So we could make a call for that, like being a little bit harmful to me physically, kind of, except I'm subjecting myself to it. So, but what are you like? What do you mean by evil? It's not obvious in my opinion. So that's why I'm asking you. Like, what do you mean is evil? Like, do you believe in demons? Is that what's at play here?
Well, that's the side of the point that we can talk about. But I mean, just trying to frame it as to how is it evil. You're trying to get me to answer it. I guess, like, everything that tries to embody or uh, frame as to take someone's life. How they have it. They have chainsaws. They have all these things they have in the mazes, like killing and just horror stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I guess that's just like a
have you ever watched something like
um
James Bond or like Fast and Furious, like any of those kinds of movies before?
yeah. I mean, sure.
Because they kill people in those movies too.
Yeah, but
So
it's
what
not to the
makes
it's not to the extent as like how Halloween does it. It's more of a on purpose, grotesque, violent stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
So I
it's
I would
more.
view that. Sorry, I know that some people like I'm not. I think it's gross. Like stuff like that grosses me out. I'm not the type of person to sit and watch a horror movie. So I can agree with you in that, like, I don't enjoy it. But I think there are people who get some kind of um not healing isn't the word I'm looking. It's kind of like cathartic, and like it's a way to poke fun at mortality and these things like blood and guts and all this stuff that we all have, and to just kind of have a day where we laugh about it, and where some people love to be scared, and that's a thing, like to go in and see that, and I just think it's funny and fun for them. And if somebody wants to celebrate that way where they're into horror movies or whatever, and they like being grossed out, and the same reason, like some people love watching like Alyssa said, these action movies, and watching these like really unrealistic things happen in these car chases that could never actually happen, but it's fun for them. So i'm I'm trying to understand how we're getting from I don't like it to evil. Like, what is the actual harm it's causing society? If somebody isn't, I mean, if somebody's actively engaging in it because they want to, what's Why is that
I
evil?
also I also am wondering too, because I know that there are people who there's some correlation between people who watch horror movies and people who are anxious in their day-to-day life. Like they find anxiety relief in watching horror movies because there is some sort of relief in like watching the worst case scenario happen but have it be like in a screen. And like not have to actually live through that experience themselves. And then there's another part of it too where like being scared is an adrenaline rush. And like I have no interest in ever jumping out of a plane, jumping out of a whatever, going bungee jumping. Like I don't, that type of adrenaline rush is not for me, but I will gladly watch a scary movie because like I like that adrenaline of like getting scared and then you turn off the TV and it's fine because I know that what the things that I'm watching, even when I'm going through those mazes and stuff like that, you leave it there. You know, like it's not like you're bringing like a this practice into your home and practicing like any of that iconography, I guess, in your own home. It's all you're doing it for entertainment. And I feel like that's very clear because it's so contained within horror movies, Halloween, like all that kind of stuff. Like it feels so contained to me.
I could say that you okay, I like to agree that I hope that you guys do like if you see someone just would you guys say if you see someone kill somebody, right, like just straight up murder, would that be considered evil?
Would it be considered
Like just
evil?
yeah, like
Taking somebody's life, depending on the context, because if it's a school shooter that's going to take out a bunch of kids, if somebody doesn't, like, if that's the only option to stop them, then I can't say that that's just blanket evil. But sure, if there's an innocent person having their life taken, I think that's evil, wrong, bad, whatever word you want to use for it. But Halloween is
yeah,
not, nobody's actually doing that. If Halloween was like the purge where we go out kill each other, then I would agree with you that it's evil and bad and wrong and harmful, but it's not.
no, I know that's why I wanted to put in a different category. Like there's a thing like where you want to just get scared, right? Of the fact that you're getting like all these pop-ups and scares and stuff, but like the reflection of evil is being portrayed by the act itself. Like I can take back to Fast and Furious analogy, like yeah, like how you said that if you kill people out of context or sorry, like in a sort of context, like you're trying to defend yourself, and that can the part of your brain just registers that as like, well, that's a self-defense move and whatever. But in terms of Halloween, a lot of it is basically just out of pure will, out of pure just wanting to kill and be grotesque and all these blood and guts and how it is,
Nobody's
like
nobody's
But
wanting,
no
like,
one's
people that
actually
go to
doing
these, they're not
that.
wanting to kill anybody. It's entertainment. It's like poking fun. Like,
no,
my friends and I, we get dressed up
I,
and we go out to these scare things and we think it's funny and we laugh about it.
yeah, but I'm saying the reflection, the theme of it is evil itself. Like it's portraying evil. It's not the act of it of you going. It's not evil. It's portraying evil. You can't be there and sit there. You can't be there and be like, well, this is what I'm seeing is not evil. It's just fun. No, it's actually portraying evil. Like if you have
I guess I
anybody
need
with a
you
brain,
I guess I need you to define evil for me better. Like, you didn't really answer my question of, do you think evil is its own entity? Because I just think evil is a word that we use
like
to describe something
as
being like, go ahead.
entity as like what do you mean entity? Like how we would describe God as an entity? Like it has a personhood.
Sure.
Like no, evil does not have like a mind. Does not have a all these attributes that like an entity would have. It's an act. It's an action. It's
I
like
don't think it's an action. I think it's a word we use to describe different actions.
um sure. I mean, well, if you commit a crime, you ought to get punished for that because it's you did something that was evil, right? Or you did something that was
Right. Which is the difference between somebody actually going and taking a chainsaw and killing someone and then someone pretending to in an act of play and drama and, for an adrenaline rush, as Alyssa was talking about, like as a funny thing during Halloween. Those are two completely different things. Like it's not even comparable.
Like, even have you ever played with, like, paintball guns or airsoft guns, like, those types of Nerf guns, like, water guns?
I agree.
Any of those
I agree
things
with.
are play, like, it's play, and you're not actually you don't actually wanna shoot somebody. You're just it's
Yeah,
play and
but
it's fun.
I guess I guess what I'm like, I'm trying to get to two different categories, right? The category is one that you're just trying to do it for fun. If you go to these Halloween events, it's not evil. You're not doing anything evil, but the Halloween itself, the theme, it's a reflection of evil. You know what I mean? It's a reflection of anything that's negative, anything that's against life, against you know. That's what I'm
It's
trying to get at. I
making
guess we.
it's making light of death and dying and um violence. I would agree with
No,
that.
I think so. Because if you have a chainsaw that's like chasing after one and trying to just split their guts all open, the act itself, it's evil. It's not making fun of death. It's making fun. It's just reflecting an evil act.
But I
I don't
think
know what you mean by reflecting versus it's like making light of it is what I said. Like it's making light, it's like turning it into a funny thing. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt
I
you, Alyssa.
also I also
That's
think
not funny.
that, like,
What's funny about someone going and chainsawing somebody? Like
It's really
it's
funny
always
when you
supposed to
take
be
your
awesome.
friends to Universal Studios Fright Night and you're standing there talking with like some glow drink and somebody runs up with a chainsaw that makes a really loud noise and they hit the pavement and scare the shit out of your friend and you all laugh together. Like that's why people do this because it's funny.
yeah, and I think that it's the adrenaline rush of of feeling like you're, like, in danger when you're not. Like, you're putting yourself in a situation where you know you're completely safe, whether you're at Fright Night, which is so fun. So, like, one of the like, my favorite nights
That's
I've
what it's
ever
called.
had
I'm like
at
making up
Fright Night.
names for it.
God,
Yeah.
it's so fun. Um, but it's you're getting that adrenaline rush of, like, of danger the way that you would if you were to go skydiving, but you're doing it in a controlled environment. And it's I would say arguably way safer to go to one not arguably, it is way safer to go to, like, a scary haunted house, fright night, watch a scary movie, get dressed up. That is so much safer than many of the adrenaline seeking activities that
All
people
right,
seek
I'll
out.
put aside just for the sake of the argument, for the sake of the of stating something that we can agree on. Like, I'm not trying to like debate over like the funny stuff or whatever, right? But like I'm just trying to like uh as like the portrayal, right? The portrayal of the Halloween events or whatever, is it evil itself? Like, is it portraying evil? Not the just try to get a laugh out of it, just trying to get adrenaline rush, but is it
Do
portraying
you
evil?
think
That's
do you think that it is evil for someone to dress up and use a pretend chainsaw and run around and scare somebody that chose to go in on a fright night to experience something like that?
uh it's it's not evil, but still you can't run away from the fact that you're portraying evil. That's what I'm trying to get at. So
I guess I'm just still, like, not understanding what your point is about, like, portraying evil, because then,
yeah, it's
like,
like
we
it's
can
not
then is the
hard. It's
Bible
like
I mean, then I'll agree, like, the Bible is portraying a shit ton of evil. So then kinda, like, what is the point? Like, I guess
like
I'm just not
what
very
evil is it
clear.
like what evil is it portraying?
In the Bible?
Right,
Well, I
sure.
mean, I just mentioned this part of the Bible earlier in another call where God sends a group of bears to maul some kids for making fun of a bald dude.
Yeah, it does say that, but I can say that it had to do with divine revelation and a goal in mind.
What's the divine revelation there? Don't make fun of people that are bald, or else God will send a bear to eat
It,
you?
it's had to do with making fun of someone that God had in place for being a really important prophet. That he said, don't mess with my divine nature. That's way
Okay, I have
above
a
your head.
question.
Let me take your
Would
life
you
and let me take it where it's much better.
Cool. Would you send a group of bears, if you were God, would you send a group of bears to maul some kids if they made fun of Jesus Christ himself?
No, but I'm not God. Uh,
Right. So you're better than God. And like I said, in the Bible, it's portraying evil, which you're saying is like what Halloween is, and that's somehow, but like your Bible is worse than
well,
that because it supposedly actually happened.
we can't say that we're better than God when we're like actively doing something that's against the nature of good. Like we do stuff, but we can't ever say that. We have our capability of thinking about who God is and why God does its reasons. It's beyond our head.
Alexander,
But
because we're getting to like this rhetoric that is very common. And we have a couple more calls to take before the show closes. I know we got a little bit
all
off
right, one
topic
question.
here. I'm gonna ask you to go back and listen to this call because you just defended some things that you were speaking against in the first half of the call. And to me, that's really interesting and really telling. I think it would be cool for you to go back and listen and hear how that breaks down because you're calling some things evil and then you're going on to defend
So
it when it's in your Bible and when your God does it. And that to me is just
wait.
revealing
So
the dogma
I'm
that's at hand.
I'm sorry. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Uh, so one act of a bear going towards the kids is way more evil than the whole nature and reflection of what Halloween is portraying. That
I'd
blows my
say
mind. I
wiping
mean,
out I would say creating a species, it was creating lots of species, but including humans, and having the foresight, knowing exactly what's going to happen when you do that. And doing it anyways, knowing that you are going to very quickly turn around and kill all of them in a flood. We're talking a lot of people. And then that you're going to go on to incite wars, to sign off on genocides, to just be completely silent in the middle of the Holocaust. I would say that all of that, in my perspective, is not reflecting evil. It's actually evil if there were a God able to interfere in any of that. I'm going to rub off my cat nose. But
okay.
so like
Do
we can
y'all,
go,
do
it's not just the bear story. I brought that up because it was from another call. I'll let you say something else because again, we got really off topic. And you're welcome to call back if you want to talk about these specifics.
one question so that you can answer it in like a straightforward answer. And it's for the state. Do y'all really think that that men protect women? Is that because that's the topic you guys wanted to talk about on the other one?
Again,
Do we?
like I started in the other, that was a title. I don't even know if Alyssa knows that that was the title of the show that somebody else picked for us. So that's not what the show ended up being about. I would love for you to call back specifically to ask about that next time we're on,
Yeah.
All right. Well,
to
Halloween
talk
is
about that
evil.
because that's a whole other topic.
I think Halloween is evil, portraying evil, and I don't know how anybody cannot see that when they go through a maze, but it is what it is.
Well, I think
Yeah, I
Halloween
think
is really fun.
unfortunately, unfortunately, we didn't get to like very good definitions or defenses of that position. But I really appreciate you calling. You're welcome to call back another
Well,
time
you
with like
wait.
a more.
God did
Hey,
evil, right?
Alexander, I'm in the
God.
middle of a sentence. I'm in the middle of a sentence. You're welcome to call back sometime when you have like a more clear argument. I think maybe this one was a little too nuanced as what happened, or something was lost in translation. And we can
Here's my
talk about it. Maybe
here's my
next time
argument.
you can call and say exactly what you think evil
And
is, like what the
reflect
definition of
evil.
evil is. Alexander, the fact that you're
Evil.
talking over
All of
me
evil.
over and over and
Better
over again
portray
makes me want to say, don't ever call
No,
back again. So if you want to
no, you
stop
gotta.
and listen to what I'm saying,
That's called.
okay, cool. I'm going
That's
to let
called
you go.
Jesus Christ.
That was
Fucking bitch.
crazy. Oh, did you hear that?
What did he say?
He said fucking bitch. That was
Oh,
crazy.
Alexander. I was being
I
really, I
don't
was
think it
trying to
dropped
help
the
him get
call.
to his argument. I think he was nervous in the beginning because I don't know about you, but I wasn't following what his point was for a really long time. I was trying to hang in there with him,
That was
but sure.
crazy. I can't.
End it
I'm so
on that
glad
note,
that you.
Alexander.
I'm so glad that you didn't drop the call when right at that moment, and that we caught
I
that because that was crazy.
Also, I love
And
that he was
also,
originally going to call in to talk about protecting women, and he ends the call with calling me a fucking bitch.
right. But also, again, literally, it's crazy because right before we took his call, I just said this. We have had people on where we do not agree with them. And we have had full back and forth conversations where we've literally gotten to a point where we're like, you know what, we're talking in circles. We just don't see eye to eye. And that's it. But like, thanks for a great conversation. And we hang up. We do that regularly on this show.
Maybe more
So
than
for
any other kind of calls that we get. I think we have a lot of
Right.
those.
So when people call and we cannot understand like what the argument is, or like they're just a little unclear, which is okay. Like people are not having to defend themselves and the things that they privately think, whatever, on a regular basis. So I get why that happens. But for you to then say like, hey, call back when you're a little more clear, because like this stuff is like we can't argue on this, we can't debate on this because it's not clear
Right.
enough. And then for him to just talk over you and then call you a fucking bitch. Sorry you're bad at this. Sorry your points are unclear. What's wrong with you? Also, the theme for this whole show, by the way, which was someone had said this in the chat, so like this is not my original thought, but the theme for this show is that we're not allowed to have fun anymore. Fun is canceled. No fun.
Fun is
Halloween,
gone.
Fun is canceled. Did you know?
wonder-
Did you know about it?
Yeah, we should start dressing up for Halloween like in January and in March and just all the time as a protest. Because that's
I
so
know.
evil of us to want to have fun.
Eric, do you want to learn how to Mongolian throat sing? Check this out.
No,
You try.
No, keep that shit to yourself. Don't hear it.
Anyway, thanks for watching that clip. Patreon.com/calltheline is where you could support us. And maybe you should subscribe and like the video because it was a killer video. Or maybe it wasn't. Was it a Forrest video? If this was a Forrest video, you don't have to click like. If it was an Eric video, go ahead and click dislike.